Jürgen Habermas may dream in democracy, but let's keep it real. Americans don't particularly have much faith in the democratic system right now, at least according to some polls, which people don't trust all that much anymore either. Propaganda got a new name this past election cycle.
It's now clear that so-called fake news can have real-world consequences.
He told officers he was there to investigate a fake news conspiracy that put the pizza restaurant at the center of a child sex abuse ring run by Hillary Clinton.
I'm not going to give you a question.
Can you stay categorically?
You are fake news.
Most people, most of the time, are not thinking about public policy issues in any depth, because why should they?
Stanford professor James Fishkin, a democracy expert, says the public has long been easy to manipulate.
They have their lives to lead. They are subject to what some social scientists have called rational ignorance. If I've got one vote in millions, why should I pay a lot of attention?
That's why, nearly 30 years ago, Fishkin decided to play around with democracy. He wanted to know, how would people's opinions change if they deliberated with strangers, consulted experts, and actually thought about issues that mattered? With this idea in mind, he came up with a method he called deliberative polling.
A deliberative poll is a poll of a population before and after it has had a chance to really think about an issue under good conditions.
In these experiments, Fishkin summons hundreds of people from the general population to see if they want to discuss important policy issues together. He held one deliberative polling session in California called What's Next, California?
Join us with What's Next, California? Join us with What's Next, California?
What is next?
More than 400 Californians gathered in Los Angeles County to discuss statewide issues. And Fishkin says turnout rates for his sessions are surprisingly high because people feel like their opinions actually matter.
I came because I was lucky enough to be called.
I'm glad to see young people out here.
In the session, participants broke into small groups to discuss issues facing the state. Moderators are there to make sure no one dominates the conversation. One topic that proved super heated, raising taxes.
The real con argument to this, from what I understand, is that it doesn't cover all of the state spending. It only covers new spending.
No, it just doesn't address the existing spending.
It's just a fresh start.
It's just, yeah. I mean, that's a separate issue.
I want them to pay the same damn tax I'm paying. And that's it. Bam, done. I'm done.
When deliberations in the sessions wrap up, Fishkin gives the participants another survey to see how their opinions changed from start to finish. Often, he says, opinions do change. People are more empathetic than you might think.
The more advantaged sometimes have more to learn from the less advantaged. One of the groups I was listening to, this guy was a car thief. I mean, he said he was a reformed car thief, but he was a car thief. And he had a lot to say about why people commit crimes.
Many people also leave the deliberation room more interested in learning about the world. Once, a woman stopped and thanked Fishkin for making her husband think harder about political issues.
She said she wanted to thank me because in 30 years of marriage, her husband had never read a newspaper. But from the moment he was invited to come to this, he started to read newspapers every day, and he was going to be much more interesting to live with in retirement, which to me showed that we had created incentives to overcome rational ignorance.
So far, Fishkin has tried deliberative polling over 70 times in more than 24 countries. Thanks to Fishkin's help, Mongolia recently passed a law requiring the polling before the government makes any amendments to the constitution. So, the Mongolian government wants to know how well-informed people feel. But, Fishkin says, in the polarized United States, politicians are more concerned with their side winning. Which raises a key question behind our own democratic experiment.
Do we want a democracy when the people are thinking or when they're not?
We won with poorly educated. I love the poorly educated.
Perhaps we should all make like Habermas and start deliberating on that one. For Philosophy Talk, I'm Holly J. McDeed.